and welcome to another episode of XGR.
XGR!
In the morning! I am your host, Quiz, aka The Mole, from The Gaming Zone on Xpound. Joining me from The Gaming Grotto is Anastasia, aka Geeky Girl.
For a second I thought you were going to forget my name.
No.
Alright, hello there.
And joining me from the Stay-at-Home Dad Gamer's webpage is the Stay-at-Home Dad Gamer himself, Victor Hammer.
Yay!
Hello, everybody.
So, as usual, let's kick it off with the news. XGR news. So, who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, I'll go after you, because I also have PlayStation stuff.
Alright. Okay, first up, they announced a special edition of Grid 2 that costs, I believe it's over $189,000. And it basically comes with the game, a PS4 to play it on, and actually a race car with a custom Grid 2 paint job. And I believe you get custom fitted for a racing suit and a helmet and stuff.
Oh my god, I saw that news. Because I know the Crispy was interested in the Grid 2, and I said to him, you need to buy that collector's edition. It's the best one ever. Why, what does it come with? A supercar.
As someone pointed out, you think they could include a TV for that price.
Yeah, and if that's the price, I have to ask you, when you go to get the game on the day from GameStop, or whatever it's called over there, if you go to get it from GameStop, will their parking lot be filled with race cars just for the people that have pre-ordered that?
You go in there, where's my pre-order car? Oh, we gave it away to someone. What? And there's this guy tearing by.
Yep.
I know, I was like, that's like the craziest special edition I've ever seen. Even when I bought, when I had the money to buy every special edition, there's no way I could get that one. But it'd be really fucking fun to get.
Yep. And it'd also be awesome if GameStop employees, they'd let them, borrow used games and sometimes new games, people say and stuff. How awesome would that be? I'm just going to borrow something from work. Oh, what's that? Oh, you'll see. Pulls up in a supercar.
He's like, yeah, no one claimed the pre-order bonus, so I'm just going to take it home.
Yeah.
You don't mind, do you? That's pretty cool. I mean, although I don't really like cars, so I'd probably hawk that shit.
I know. Well, I'd want to keep it just for the sheer, there's only one of them, you know? My collector hoarding sense would take over.
Indeed. But do you have another bit of news?
Yes. Second bit of news is in response to the Twitter campaign, quote-unquote, of hashtag PS4 no DRM, Sony worldwide president Shuhei Yoshida sent out a tweet that says, Death Ray Manta coming to PlayStation Vita, hashtag DRM PS Vita. So he's apparently trolling people by making a different acronym for DRM there, which is pretty funny.
Nice.
And then last bit of news, Sony has said that pretty much all PS4 games are going to require remote play to basically stream the game to the Vita, unless it's one that requires significant camera work or something that the Vita actually, couldn't do, even though there's a camera on it. But I assume it's not as detailed as the PS4 camera, which is actually pretty cool. So you can, kind of like what the Wii does, where some games you can play it just on the pad. And I think that's a cool little feature to copy from Nintendo, but to add in.
I agree. The second screen does come in handy with the Wii U.
Yeah.
It does. So was that it?
Yep, those were my stories for the week.
Alright, I'll go next. I had another thing about, you said that dude from PlayStation, what was his name? You said Shuhei Yoshida?
Shuhei Yoshida?
Yeah, that dude. So, he had this tweet that I also had I favorited when they was talking about Xbox, and they said they can play all the used games the Xbox had on the PlayStation 4 because then no one's gonna ever have used games on the Xbox, which I thought was awesome. And then like a while ago they responded with, "We have made no official statement on used games or whatever," but yeah. So I just thought that was funny. But like that's not my news. I just had to like mention that. But they were so one of my news is they Xbox or someone at Microsoft for Xbox behalf, they had to make an official statement, and this is a page long, all about yes, you can turn the console completely off. And so apparently they went into a long list of, like, everyone was afraid that the Kinect was watching them and they'd never be able to, like, you know, be staring at them in their homes. And even to turn it on, you say, turn on Xbox, which means the Kinect would still be on. So, like, they had, like, great details and talked about, you know, you could, like, multiple ways to turn it off. Like, you can unplug it completely from the wall. Yes, that turns it off. Like, I didn't know that. Like, you know. And, like, you can unplug, like, the Kinect part, I think, or what did they say? Or at least, or maybe not unplug it, but, like, maybe turn the Kinect option off. If you, I don't know. They said there's something about turning the Kinect part off, possibly.
See, I saw something about that which amused me. With the complaints people had was when the Xbox was on, the Microsoft the Microsoft Kinect thing would constantly be watching you. Whenever you're playing your games or you're doing movies, it reads how many people are in the room and stops you watching certain films and stuff like that. It's like, and people were complaining, it shouldn't always be watching me when I'm watching a film and stuff. To which Microsoft responded, don't worry, it's not always watching you. Sometimes you turn it off. And I'm like, brilliant.
Well, that's the thing, the whole point of, like, the whole, like, statement they made on a page long was, yes, you can turn a console off. If people are concerned with turning your console off, like, what does that say? Like, the main people are concerned about not using it. Like, their primary concern is, like, no, I want this shit off. Like, get this shit away from me. Like, that's, like, their main concern, apparently. So I just, like, I thought that was funny that needed to be, like, addressed. It still reminds me of the Nicolas Cage, not a vampire thing. Yeah, so the second one I have was, supposedly they compared the PS4 specs to the Xbox One, and now I'm going to say some alphabet soup here. Okay, let's see, the Xbox One has 8 gig GDDR3, which is RAM, I've been told. So, and then the PlayStation 4 has GDDR5, which is a better, faster version of RAM or something. So the frame rates per second supposedly will be better on the PS4. I don't give a shit about that because HD is HD. I don't like care about frame rates unless it's like really bad and affects the gameplay. But like for people who are like like my sister, like she thinks graphics make the best games ever. Like she doesn't care that there's like nothing. That's why she loved the movie Avatar. But she'd probably be all over that and stuff. So supposedly the PlayStation 4 will have better frame rates and possibly better graphics. Maybe.
From what other people have said when they've compared the specs, is they're pretty much identical. It's just one's better for like having more people on the screen, and the other one's better for like longer distances. But overall, they're both the same. It's just a case of which thing do you prefer.
Yeah. I don't care either, because I don't play video games with other people anyway, and I don't have, like...
No, by more people on the screen, it also means...
Like models.
Yeah, like if you're playing something like Dragon Age, let's say, you could have more enemies swarm you at once.
Well, that's not good, but I would like when I have a cheering crowd, I would like there actually be more than 10 people, you know? Like, honor your queen, you know? Like... Anyway... Like, because any game, whenever they have a crowd, it's always like 10 people. That's the entire crowd. Like, even when I was playing Bioshock Infinite and you hear, like, the crowd sounds, there's like 5 people. So, yeah, I would like more crowd people. Anyway, that's my news.
I'm cool. I technically had 4 bits of news this week. I just realised because I've written them down. I thought I only had 2, I had 4. I'll get through the quick stuff first. A quick thing which amused the hell out of me. Sony's new ad campaign. It's a poster that consists of basically mocking the 360 with, we also use your television for gaming.
I saw that. That's so awesome.
It was hilarious. Next quick bit of news. Ubisoft has announced their E3 lineup, which includes Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Rayman Legends, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Watch Dogs, South Park Stick of Truth, and they added "and more." Which is led some people to believe there's going to be some new properties, maybe a Zombieland, maybe a Zombie U 2, which would be awesome. I'm just glad, hey, we're going to get to see South Park Stick of Truth. I've been waiting for that.
Me too.
Maybe they'll announce a game called More.
Yeah. Game called More.
That'd be amazing. I want to play that game.
Yeah, the South Park game? That sounded really cool. I did want to play that.
Yep. I also kind of wanted to play as a Jew in it, just because it's hilarious. But, and now follow-up news from one of my previous ones. Capcom have released the following statement about the Revelation Pool event. In light of yesterday's sad events, we are cancelling our Revelations Pool event. We thank you for the understanding. The reason this happened is a British soldier. Thank you. British Army guy was killed.
Yes.
A British Army guy was killed in what's being treated as a suspected terrorist attack in the UK in Woolwich. Following the killing, the man had blood covered in his hands and was filmed saying he performed a brutal act for basically the British Army guys are killing Muslims every day, a reference to the current conflict in the Middle East. So, yeah. In hindsight, I'm not going to criticize Capcom for this. In fact, I stand by their decision. It would have been a little tasteless and a little disrespectful to have this event this soon after the incident. So yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about that one.
Well, I understand that it can't happen now because of the event, but at least bring it back for next time. Bring it back for next time. Don't tuck it away forever. Just keep that in the vault, and pull it out the next time.
There's not going to be a next time, sadly.
Oh.
Because the next Resident Evil game will probably be Resident Evil 7, which will be a shooter. Revelations was all about, the people really wanted this old school style Resident Evil game. We're going to give it to them, but at the same time, it's not going to make as much money because the big bro audience aren't going to be playing this game. So let's advertise it.
Not just for Resident Evil, but you can use pools of blood in a swimming pool of blood and limbs for many games. It doesn't have to be just Resident Evil. I'm saying the next time you have some horror-based game that's really gory and has lots of blood, boom, there you go.
So
Silent Hill 6.
So what our woman reviewer is saying is you can have a giant pool of blood, period.
Hell yes. I support that. Yes.
Wow.
Richter knows what I did.
I know what you did. I support it.
Good. But yeah, my final bit of news is the one I left for last because it's my favourite news, is Sonic Lost World. We've got the trailer for it and it looks awesome with the Deadly Six being revealed and stuff. And the people who make it have said, we wanted to create an all-new design for 3D Sonic games with Sonic Lost World. They also said, ever since the first day of development, we've been focusing on creating new and unique levels to best fit this style. And they talk about and the trailer shows it too, basically Generations was 3D stages and 2D versions of said stages. This one's more of a hybrid of it's the same stage, but it's also 2D and it's also 3D, which it's that's kind of cool. And they put a lot of work into it. Sadly, Sonic's the only playable character we found out, but it seems like they're really trying to perfect Sonic before they go another route and try and do one of the other characters, which I can respect, and they have mentioned Tails, Knuckles, and Amy will appear for the story, so woohoo!
He still has friends. It's just how all the Rangers were still technically friends with that other one that left, and then they came back.
Yes. But that was the end of my news and the end of the news. So let's go over to catch-up portion of the week. So catch-up play. Which one of you would like to go first with the games you've played this week?
I can go first. Might as well. For this week, I was continued playing Dynasty Warriors Next on the Vita, and honestly, the more I play that game, the less I like it. Just because those they have little Vita-specific mini games, that uses the motion or the touchscreen or whatever, and those get pretty annoying. Other than that, though, it's still pretty fun. The next game that I recently completed was Tales from Space: Mutant Blobs Attack, which was a free PlayStation Plus freebie for the Vita several months ago, but I didn't have a Vita, so I didn't play it then. But it's a fairly fun, short platforming game. Kind of seems like a cross between like an old Mario and Katamari, since you eat stuff up, so basically Katamario. And but it's pretty short, pretty fun.
Also known as Kirby.
There you go. Well, you don't like get powers from it. It's kind of like Katamari, where you just get bigger when you eat stuff.
Fair enough. So it's like real life. I've got bigger because I had loads of stuff.
I know, right?
I was just going to say Kirby that's constipated, but...
But it's sometimes the touchscreen functionality gets annoying because you have to platform while using your other hand to like touch the screen, the front screen, and you have this big ass finger in the way while you're trying to do stuff. So it can get kind of annoying, but there's frequent checkpoints, so it's not really an overly hard game. Nice little game for an afternoon, though. I definitely would not have bought it because pretty short, not quite my style of game, but it was still kind of fun. And last thing I completed was the Metal Gear Rising Blade Wolf DLC. And this was really fun. Even though it's really short, just like the Metal Gear Rising, it's really fun because with the last DLC, it was very combat focused because the character didn't stealth at all. And with this DLC, they brought back the stealth, and you can pretty much go through just about the entire DLC without ever fighting, except for the final boss and a couple other fights. And I just basically ran around Dishonored style and just stealth killed everyone. So it was pretty fun.
And nice.
I played Dishonored. Go ahead.
I was just saying, that Metal Gear game, while I haven't played it, it is meant to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really short and sometimes frustrating, but it's a lot of fun. It is ridiculously stylish.
Nice. What were you saying, Geeky Girl?
Oh, I was just saying with Dishonored, that's the only reason I didn't like it is because I didn't like being stealthy. I wanted to go out with guns blazing and just kill everybody and, like, screw stealth. I just wanted to, like, everybody, I'm here, get to the front so I can kill you. Yeah, and it wasn't that kind of game.
And did you want to go with your week?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I've been, like, addicted to Dragon Age. I beat 2, and
You're welcome.
Yes, I know. And what I did immediately was I played through 1 again and beat that again, and then I'm playing through Awakening again, and playing it the way I literally 100% did Dragon Age this time, Origins. So now I have, like, a new appreciation for the, 'cause I played it differently. I have a new appreciation for the DLC, so it's not as bad as I originally thought it was. But, like, now that I'm playing through this, I haven't played the second one, I really miss Anders. Like, he's cool here, and I forgot how cool he was, but then he's like a douche, dickhead, like, weepy baby in, like, the second one. I'm like, and then I come across Justice, right? I'm like, no, Justice, just go away, just go away, you're going to ruin a cool character. He doesn't, though.
Ironically, in Awakening, I actually preferred Justice to Anders, while I liked Anders too. However, yes, both of them merged. It's not cool. It's not as cool, but both separately are awesome.
He's just weepy and he's a dickhead, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go blow up everything.
It's basically what I'm going to refer to as Vegito syndrome. Where Vegeta, awesome. Goku is also there. Both merged together, it's okay, but separately Vegeta's just more badass.
Yes.
So that's
Vegito syndrome.
That's literally what I've been doing. I've just been on 100%ing all of Dragon Age because I'm addicted now, and my OCD is now fully engaged, and I can't unengage it.
And now I'm going to really annoy your OCD and say you've not 100%ed Dragon Age Origins.
What? How have I not 100%ed it?
Because in order to 100% the game properly, you would need to play every single Origin.
I've already played all 3 of them.
There's more than 3 Origins.
What's the other one?
There's 6.
There's 6?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
what?
It depends on it depends on class. It depends on race that you've picked. Like, for example, if you pick elf, there's 2 elves. There's Danish and noble elf.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Damn it!
Yeah.
Now I have to play it again. Fuck you.
You're welcome.
I hate you. I hate you. I'm just gonna. I swear I might have to just watch a Let's Play of that because I don't know if I can do that to myself again. Because once I get started, that'll be just my life, and I don't know if I have the time to do that. Like, I don't know if I can allow myself to do that.
See, I haven't played through all the origins in that. I've played through 2. Because I'm of the opinion, I stuck with the origin I liked, and it was cool. And I've read some of the stuff with the other ones, and they seem cool. It's just they weren't for the character I created.
Yeah. Well, to be fair with the origins, to get the basic gist of it, you only have to do the first part until Ostagar, because then it's, there's a lot of similarities with all the other ones.
Yep.
I really like my noble one, because that was like for the mage one, you have to do all this shit, but like for this one with the noble one, you just get right to the fucking point.
See, I liked the Danish elf one I did, but my favourite was probably the mage one. Just because while I was playing it, and I believe the Crispy was here at the time, like I mentioned in the past, I loved him turning around and just being like, "You're a dick." Because I walked up to this guy and he's like, "Oh, help me out, please, me and my girlfriend, we need safe passage. Please help me, sir." And I'm like, "Sure, I'll help you." The second I bump into the guy of authority, he's like, "Oh, okay, how are you?" The guy's over there and he's planning to escape. Seriously, he wants me to help him. Do you want me to, like, pose, maybe go undercover so you can catch him in the act and destroy their love forever? And the guy's like, "Oh, what a good idea." And I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh my god, that's amazingly terrible.
I like the mage story because it tells you who that character is. Because later, like when my wife was playing, she ran across that guy. I'm like, "Oh, that guy." She goes, "You know this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's the blood mage." She goes, "Really?" Like she was gonna like trust him later. And so then she's like, "I think I'm gonna keep him locked up because of what you told me." And I'm like, "Yeah, he fucking dude cuts and runs. Forget that guy."
He is like the weepy version of Anders. He just pisses me off because you want to trust him, you want to help him, and he keeps fucking you over.
No, you want to help him.
I want to help him because I want him to be good, but then he frickin' just screws up and never stops, and stop being evil.
I also loved when I justified it when I was talking to the Crispy about it. I was like, "My actions were correct." And he's like, "What do you mean?" "You heard the head mage, Papa Smurf guy with the beard. He's like, your actions were good. You've helped the circle by respecting our rules and traditions. So, yeah, while it may have been slightly unethical or whatever, I still obeyed the law. I was helping the law. I'm the good guy here." And Crispy's just like, "No, you're a dick." But any other games you've been playing this week?
I have not. This has been literally my addiction. I've been spent up till like 5 a.m. playing this, and I have had literally lack of sleep because I'm playing this. So it's getting pretty bad.
And okay, my catch up. I completed Dragon Age 2 as my female mage. Woo!
Woo!
She was a lesbian with Isabella. Woo! And at the end, I almost chose differently this time. So I'm like, okay, while I'm listening to the dialogue this time, it seems like the Templars are making a little bit more sense. Until I went to select the option, and every member of my team, except for white-haired emo guy, who hates mages, seemed to disapprove of my actions and were like, "You're evil, you're the most scum ever." So with which I then just went, when it gave me the other option, I was like, "No, I've changed my mind, I'm now with the mages." Because I didn't want to screw up and have like no allies except for the guy who hates me anyway because he hated mages. I was a mage, so I kept being a dick to him just because I know he hates me. But and that guy, oh my god, his will, it's so fucking small, Richter. The first time I was playing it, I got the option of, "How dare you go on the opposite side to me? You hate slavery. What these people are doing is slavery." And he used logic and reason and stuff, and the male one, the character, used logic, reason and stuff, and got the guy onto my side. Mm-hmm. This time around, I picked the option of, "Come on." He's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Wow." Because the option, I didn't have the option to be like, "Oh, but you care about slavery and stuff," because I wasn't nice to him during his mission, so I never learned that. Therefore, during this one, I just picked the option of, yeah, but come on. Basically, that's all it was, pretty much. It's like, come on. He's like, okay.
Oh my god.
He lacks his will. But the second game I played was Defiance. And I will say a multiplayer mayhem, aka a multiplayer let's play, is available on my Gaming Zone channel. Check it out today. Next game I played, Double Dragon Neon.
Ooh.
Love that game.
Game's awesome.
It is. It's basically just, for those of you wondering who haven't played it, it's very much like the old Dungeons and Dragons with a few extra things thrown in, like the ability to create fireballs and stuff. I plan to do maybe a review of this at some point in the future. Cool. But
you need to do multiplayer mayhem with that.
I might do as well. Especially if the option's in from the original one where you get to betray him at the end.
If you want me to tell you, I will tell you, but I will just say, yes, they do have that fight.
Nice.
the hose before bros fight.
Yeah, because that would be hilarious if I got to do that, where I do a little multiplayer mayhem, where you can see how many hours we're spending doing this story, and at the end, I'm going to betray you now. Ah! Which was always a dickish move. The only part reason it's not so dickish on this one is it has a save feature. So it's not like the old one, you have to restart from the very fucking beginning because someone did that. I also love the fact they don't call it co-op, they refer to it as bro-op. With Shadow Bro and stuff. It's so awesome. And when you're collecting the stuff to do the power-ups and stuff on it, it's like mixtapes, which is so 80s, and yet it's a new feature to the game, because that wasn't really in the original ones, I don't think.
No, it's basically I think they remade like Double Dragon 1, they just super 80-fied it, so there's like neon. Have you played any co-op at all or no?
No, not yet.
Okay, because when one of the players goes down, you can go revive them, and the icon on the screen is a tape, and you two might be too young for this, and you put a pencil, the pencil goes in, and as you mash the circle button, you rewind the tape. Yeah, because it's like the tape's all pulled out, and use the pencil eraser to wind it back in. It's so awesome.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's like it's a new feature to the series, but at the same time, they made it old by adding tapes. I'm like, that's awesome, but yeah.
And dude, Skeletor with Soul Edge. I mean, come on.
Yep. The next game I've played, which I've reviewed in the past on my channel, review's up now, Sonic Generations, because I'm getting all geared up ready for Sonic Month. Love this game. The 2D levels made from 3D levels, 3D ones made from 2D, and vice versa. Boss isn't just a big homage to Sonic. My only complaint with that, I will warn Sonic fans, is it is a little too short. However, it's unbelievably fun. Everyone should get that game. It's awesome. Sonic Generations. And then that'll take me to my last game, which I will go into more detail about. Unearthed, The Trial of Ivan Batu.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah.
It's got PS1 graphics. It's on PS3. It's got PS1 graphics, and it's basically a Arabic Uncharted.
I like Uncharted.
The characters and dialogue and stuff is kinda interesting, but the gameplay just sucks. The graphics sucks. The graphics, like I said, PS1 graphics, they suck. The gameplay sucks balls. Like, it tells you to jump up on ledges, and you're trying to jump up on ledges, you can't, and then you realise, wait, they're not ledges, it's just a black stain on the wall. The actual ledges, you can't jump up. And the sheer annoyance with playing this game, it's not like, oh god, it's so bad that you're gonna love it. It's just bad. It's so bad, I got it today, I played through it for like an hour or two, and then I was like, you know what, this game just sucks balls. I deleted it from my console, and I'm done with it. I'm not even gonna buy the next one, because it's Uncharted, Unearthed, Episode 1, The Trial of Ivan Batua. I may be pronouncing that wrong.
That's okay.
But yeah, the character and the story is pretty cool. It's just not worth playing this game. And unfortunately, the story and stuff we've seen a million times. Like Uncharted did it, and before Uncharted ripped it off, Tomb Raider did it, and stuff like that. Which means, yeah, we've seen this a million times, but with actual gameplay that's decent. So what's the point at this point? It's just not worth playing. It's just not even worth checking out. And that was the end of my catch-up. So now let's go over to the opinion piece of the week.
Whoop, whoop.
And this is one I know for a fact Victor has been looking forward to. It's multiplayer in non-multiplayer games. I will let Victor take this away.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm okay when they add co-op into sometimes. Like RE5 was was kind of fun, even though I was going through it with Marcus. But it was kind of fun. Do I think it was necessary? No. Because on the whole, I understand why they put multiplayer in them is usually to increase replay value and, to hopefully combat used game sales. But to me, it honestly always feels unnecessary because a lot of times when they do that, the multiplayer is half-assed, so it ends up not being that good. And especially when they attach like trophies and achievements to it to try to get OCD people, it just makes it horrible. And then a lot of times the single player suffers because it ends up being like a shorter game usually, or just a lot more buggy, or in the case of Mass Effect 3, they tie in the multiplayer so much into it that like you can't do a perfect run through the first time unless you do multiplayer.
That's one of my biggest fears right now with Dragon Age 3 coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping BioWare and EA don't add multiplayer. If they do, don't add forced multiplayer.
Yeah.
Co-op multiplayer could be fun if you're in the same room or split screen or whatever with, okay, I'm playing as my created one, but now someone else can go and play as one of the other ones or whatever. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't want the one for Mass Effect.
Yeah. I don't want it's a battle royale, the golems versus the ogres, and you're like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. I will also say I disagreed with your co-op analogy.
Uh-huh.
I like co-op in some games added to it later on. If the game started off, they had two characters, and it fits the genre of the game and stuff like that, and doesn't hurt the game. Resident Evil 5 is a bad example, because adding co-op, it went from being survival horror, which while it still was more action, it still had some elements of survival horror, to just being Call of Duty zombie mode.
Yeah, well, I felt I felt Resident
you were about
Evil
to call
4.
it Call of Duty zombie mode. Nice.
I think Resident Evil 4 was enough of a gateway to 5 that it doesn't feel quite as jarring. But it's not the best example. It's just the one I could think of offhand.
Yeah.
I understand how it could hurt it. I was just saying I enjoyed the game. I don't think it was necessarily the best choice.
Oh, yeah.
But I did like it.
Yeah, I was just saying I disagree. I think as long as it doesn't hurt the integrity of the series, it's fine. Like, I'll give an example using a game I play with, and one which I may have a review of soon. Sonic Colors. You're playing only as Sonic. However, there is a multiplayer mode in there, split screen, and if you go to it, it's basically the same game. It's just you're each playing as Sonic robots, trying to do these puzzles and stuff, because that's how Robotnik's training his soldiers against Sonic.
Interesting.
He trains them by making little robot Sonic run through the levels to see how they would work out. I like that. And it works. It works within the story of the game. It works because it feels like the game, and it also works because it doesn't hurt the single player, because the single player on that game is so fucking good.
I think, to me, a lot of times if they really try to shoe in multiplayer, it's just as odd as having a single player only Ninja Turtles game.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them. It's built-in multiplayer, and they're like, that's single player. What? Even though that I kind of enjoyed that movie tie-in Ubisoft game, it still was odd. It's like, why is a Ninja Turtle game single player? There's 4 of them.
I liked the TMNT game, I'll admit. But yeah, for me, with the multiplayer as well, like you said, the online multiplayer they tag on some of the games just aren't that good. Like Tomb Raider, it was okay. It was better than the shit they tagged onto Uncharted, but. The God of War multiplayer was just horrible. And it's like, that multiplayer shouldn't exist in this series.
Yeah.
especially considering they tried to tie it into the story, like we pointed out, and we've talked about this before the recording, of there's a guy in a cell that looks up and goes, God, give me power, and he dies in single player. You don't give him a second thought. When you go to multiplayer, it turns out that guy was transported to heaven to become one of many versions of him transported to heaven to fight in Mortal Kombat to amuse the gods with no grand prize given.
It's like the Mortal Kombat quote-unquote tournament. There's no real prize.
There was. There was immortality.
Did you actually get immortality in the Mortal Kombat tournament?
You didn't, but
I thought you just didn't die.
Yeah, in terms of story mode and stuff, you got immortality. Like, Liu Kang got immortality, therefore he wouldn't age and he wouldn't die until the next Mortal Kombat. And then when they... when the invasions kept happening, and they ended up changing through sheer force, the will of Mortal Kombat. They then found a way of killing him through Mortal Kombat. But yeah, that was that. But yeah, the co-op, the multiplayer thing. How does Stacy feel?
Okay. See, multiplayer's a whole thing with me. Cause, like, I like multiplayer. I even like the Uncharted one, but that's because I never play multiplayer, so I have nothing to judge it against, so. But, see, like, I like co-op things, but I don't have anyone to play with. So, I never have anyone ever to play video games with, ever. So, like, awesome, it's co-op. It'd be awesome if I had someone to, like, make use of it. So, I think it's awesome. I would like, co-op if I had the people available, but I do not, so I'd kind of ignore both multiplayers of anything. The only reason I like the online, friggin', what was it called again? My brain just stopped. The one you just mentioned.
Uncharted?
Yes. That one is just because the people are already online there, so I don't have to find anybody.
See, the Uncharted multiplayer, I'm not saying it's bad multiplayer. I've played worse multiplayer. It's just not very good. I mean, you could tell, like, the first Uncharted didn't have multiplayer, and then when they tacked it on for the other ones, they haven't finalised it. That's why, like, some of the controls are just completely sloppy, and some of the mechanics of it, like with the third one when we played it, it seemed, okay, whoever starts on this level at this base instantly guarantees victory. That seems pointless winning it. Which I'm not insulting the game. If people like the game, that's cool. I just went through it with, for example, I went through that co-op, that multiplayer and stuff, and I got the Crispy to download it, who's a big shooter fan, and he only plays shooters mostly. He was like, this is the worst shooter mechanics and stuff he's ever played. And I was like, yeah, I can see that.
On. But on the plus side, it's a multiplayer I can actually play, because I don't have to find the people. So, that's the only, like, regard in that.
I will admit, sometimes multiplayer in the games, when they add it, can be unbelievably fun.
I think the last co-op one I played was when, and I really enjoyed this, and you're gonna laugh. Okay, Shrek 2, the game, on, like, PlayStation 2. Anybody know that? We played co-op on that. It was 4 players, and I was the Shrek, and my sister was the cat. And, oh my god, that was so fun that I played co-op with. So I think that's my last co-op experience I've ever had.
Co-op's not bad, but yeah, I was saying, one of the games I found unbelievably fun when they added multiplayer to it, which proves it can work, is Saints Row. I didn't like what they did with Grand Theft Auto 4, where the multiplayer was just, okay, now you're in a parking lot, it's a deathmatch. I'm like, this isn't Grand Theft Auto, this is just shooting.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto involves being able to steal cars or being able to do more than just one element of the series. Saints Row, with the multiplayer, you got to do co-op, which means we had stuff like the passing through reviewer Andy from Xpound. May he rest in peace. No, I'm kidding. He's still with us. He's still with us. But yeah, he's just no longer part of the site. But I played Saints Row the third with him, and we got to do shit like he was driving his plane through the air, and I was with him because it was like you could just join up each other's games as your character. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, down there, just to warn you, is a load of zombies. I'm like, wait, there's zombies in this game? He's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then suddenly he's like, wait, where the hell have you gone? And he just hears, wee! from me on voice, and he goes, what the hell are you oh god. And I'm like, I've jumped down to fight the zombies. He walks down, and I'm literally taunting the zombies with my finger up with the fuck you, and then punching them in the face and mealing them. He's like, why aren't you using your guns? And I'm just punching them as they're coming towards me. Which, at the end result was he went down there to get me, and eventually the zombies, after when he was down there and he was shooting some of them and stuff, they swarmed me and pulled me down and started to bite me and shit, but it was unbelievably fun.
Yeah, I saw a Let's Play of that on the co-op, and I was very jealous.
But that goes into a feature I wouldn't mind in a multiplayer series, which, I know this isn't technically on topic, but when has that stopped us before?
Yeah, go for it.
I want a feature in multiplayer where, let's say we're playing Resident Evil with the multiplayer, or any game like that with a multiplayer thing, and you're against, like, zombies. If you're a human character and you get bit by a zombie, I want you to turn into a zombie, and suddenly your mission list changes, and your new mission is to hunt your friend down as a zombie.
I thought you were going to go in a different direction. Like, I thought you might have the option of chopping off your friend's leg, and he'll be, like, wounded and stuff, and continue the mission all wounded with, like, a missing leg, and he'll slow down, but at least he won't completely die. Like, because you could have your friend go, what the hell are you doing? I'm saving your life. Chops off leg, you know.
There's games where you can do that. Example, Lego Star Wars. You can chop the limbs off the Lego people with lightsabers.
Yeah, but they're not your teammates.
C-3PO is.
Well, they're not being controlled by other people.
Yes, he was. Sadly, yes, he was. I've played that with people before now, and when I've realised that was a feature of C-3PO, I chopped off every one of his limbs, except for the last one you'd need to chop off to kill him.
Slow.
Yeah, you've done that as well, Richter. You can chop off his arms and one leg. If you chop off his other leg, he dies. Yeah. So I do it and leave one leg and force whoever I'm playing with to just hop.
Oh my god, he's serious? Oh my god. That is so hilariously dickish.
But I want that in a multiplayer game, because that would be fun. If you start off as the good guy with your friend, and not like the not the Double Dragons ones, right, where it's like, okay, do you want to turn? Yes. I want to see something like the enemies can possess you, and make it so you as a player want to kill your friend because it's your missions. Like, for example, let's say we're playing a game and one of the main bad guys has hypnotic powers. It'd be cool if they could fucking mind control you, so then your objectives change, and then you're like, okay, I'm meant to be this person's mind-controlled slave, I must kill my friend, okay. And if you do it that way, they will fucking compete with their friends, and the character battle would be unbelievably fun.
That would be fun.
I think if there was any game that had, like, that zombie mechanic, I think Dead Rising would be an awesome candidate for it.
Oh, I agree. I love Dead Rising.
Because even, like, you could also, build in didn't Zombrex, like, stave the zombie infection? So you could even have that in there where you have to try and pump up your friends so they don't turn on you.
Yeah.
Or you could just, like, refuse it or something. You're, like, griefing your friend, like, no, I'm going to turn on you, and he just, like, takes off running.
Yeah. You're like Superman denying Jimmy water.
Yeah.
He's always depriving people water.
He is. Awesome. But have you played Dead Rising yet, Stace?
Yes, I have. My sister actually has it. Or no, Dead Rising 2, not the first one, but the second one.
I preferred the first one, although the second one I preferred it when I had, and I think I can download this again if I want to, because I bought the downloaded one. I loved the second one with Frank's story.
Off the record?
Yeah, only because my favourite element of Dead Rising was taking the photos. But what I loved with the Dead Rising series, when you mentioned it, Victor, was I loved at the time, before Resident Evil 5 came out, which the zombies and stuff weren't a threat anymore. I loved Resident Evil, made by Capcom. Dead Rising, made by Capcom. Resident Evil, the zombies are a threat. If you got one alone with you in a room, you're like, oh shit, pistol, dum dum dum, shit, I need to survive this. If you're on Dead Rising, you're like a whole herd of zombies, I'm gonna throw a pie in one's face and take a photo.
He's a foam Mega Buster.
Yeah, which made it fun, because it was like, they're just allowing you to just have fun with the concept of, okay, there's all these zombies, but they're more of a nuisance than they are a threat. Like, how awesome were some of the weapons, like taking the golf club in the mall, and the first ones are fucking hitting the golf balls, they went flying. Or the best one where you took a photo of a female zombie to get erotica pictures.
I
remember when I was playing that years ago, and I and Marcus came over and he was playing it, and we both like basically wandered in separate directions to just grab crap and throw it at zombies, and he grabbed like a stack of CDs and he was throwing them like ninja stars into them, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I loved on that, where you got the various weapons, and it's just like, wait, you can do that? And the second one, I loved some of the combos too, like the drill and the bucket placed on the head kills them. Some of them, they were just awesome. But yeah, back on the topic with the multiplayer in non-multiplayer games. There's been a few, we've talked about how we feel about that, but I'll let everyone go through and give an example each. What would you give as an example of good multiplayer added in and bad multiplayer added in terms of games? You can list 2 each if you want.
So you mean like not co-op, but like the tacked on multiplayer?
Even co-op.
Okay.
It's multiplayer, it's been added to a non-multiplayer series.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Shrek 2. Yeah. It may not be from this decade or whenever Shrek 2 came out, but yeah, that one. That was awesome.
Impressive.
Yes.
Do you have an example of a bad one?
I don't know.
Like I said, you can give 2 examples.
I have to think about it. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. How about you, Richter?
A bad example, honestly, would be Metroid Prime 2. I know it's not that recent, but, like, freaking really. That was terrible. It wasn't even online or anything, which made it worse. A good example, okay, this is really old, but in Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on the Super Nintendo, which are actually 4 and 6, you could actually, if a second person had a controller, you could actually designate which party members they used, like which slots. And that's pretty badass, because in RPG it's single player, but you could actually play somewhat co-op. It was just very stealthily hidden in the menus, which was awesome.
Nice.
Okay, I thought of a bad one. Okay, Super Mario Brothers, not you, but the one for the Wii. That one was really bad. No, like the one where you're like the regular Super Mario Brothers Wii, like one. The one
new Super Mario Brothers Wii.
I would technically argue I don't think that counts.
But like, okay, I'm just saying
because the Super Mario Brothers series has always had multiplayer as under the name Super Mario Brothers.
But that one's really bad because like you bunk into everybody and you kill all your friends so accidentally so easily. It makes the multiplayer part unplayable. Like whenever my friends would be like. And I did actually occasionally play the one. I'd be like, no, you can't play multiplayer on this one. Get the hell out! Like seriously,
it's
like
a griefing simulator.
See, I was the opposite.
Game was made for.
I was the opposite with that one. Yeah. I loved the multiplayer in New Super Mario Brothers when we were playing, because you got elements of, oh, cool, I'm going to help you out, I'm going to pick you up, and I'm going to run through this level, and then you got a moment of, oh god, I didn't mean to do that, where you've picked up your friend and you've accidentally thrown him down a hole. That sounds more bad in my out loud, but I mean, you picked them up and you got to press jump, but as you've done it, you've let go of the hold button.
Oh no, the main
so
one.
You just toss them down a hole, or you've thrown a shell at them, and it's unbelievably fun.
The main kill that I've accidentally done is, okay, you throw your person up there, but then, like, as they're falling, you jump on their head to get an extra jump, and then you survive, and they die. That's the one that I've done the most. Or accidentally done, you know.
Which means your friend now knows what Yoshi feels like.
Betrayal. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking of that exact same picture. Betrayal, you treacherous swine.
Yes.
But, okay, my examples. Good multiplayer. I don't know if people here will agree with these two. I'm just going to give 2 examples, and they're 2 different ones. One would be, I kind of liked was it Legend of Zelda 4 Swords?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of liked how they did that. The other one would be, and this is also on GameCube, using Game Boy Advanced screen, pretty much a prototype for the Wii U, you could argue, but I loved the Pac-Man game.
Which Pac-Man game?
One of you plays as Pac-Man, the other ones play as ghosts. So while Pac-Man's always been a single-player game experience, Pac-Man on the game, like I said, one of you got to play as Pac-Man, one of the others got to play as ghosts, so you were going through the maze, eating all the pills and trying to eat your friends and stuff when they were ghosts. it's a game that isn't actually meant to be a multiplayer game, but in doing so, especially where you couldn't see the screening, where your friends were going to go properly and stuff, it still felt like Pac-Man. It just felt multiplayer. That was a great example. Bad examples of multiplayer would be, obviously, God of War. Did not really care too much for the multiplayer they added on to God of War.
Is that God of War Ascension or a different God of War?
Yes.
Yeah, God of War Ascension.
Alright.
And the second bad example of multiplayer, I'm gonna have to go with. Fuck it, I'll go with Uncharted. I did not like the multiplayer in Uncharted.
Okay.
But it also works. Sometimes it can work the other way around. I will say before we close off of multiplayer with, like, if you remove multiplayer from multiplayer games at the same time just go on single player, I don't like that either. Like, how many driving games and shooting games now with one player only, except for online play?
Yeah.
Or the biggest travesty of all, I point you to one of the 360 exclusives, which I sadly played and had some achievements when I had the 360. So I'm not just pulling this out my ass. I give you Bomberman Act Zero.
That was one player?
Dude, no one should ever have to play that game.
Yeah.
I love Bomberman.
No, you won't love this one. It's
Oh,
not
if you love Bomberman, Stacey, go and get Bomberman Act Zero. It should be cheap on 360, and let us know how you feel next week.
Oh my god, this is like a terrible Bomberman game.
It's not even a bomber.
He looks like Master Chief. And it's like over.
He looks like Iron Man.
Yeah, it's like over the soul. It's like over the shoulder view of like a third-person game where you're like fucking firing bombs like a first-person shooter. It's not Bomberman.
What the hell?
I'll show you a trailer later.
Oh my god, I'm just trying to imagine that, because every time I've ever played Bomberman, and I've played a whole lot of ones since, like, freaking early 2000s, but, like, it's always been over the top view, you know?
Yeah,
overhead view.
I love the Bomberman games too. I'm not insulting the Bomberman games, just that one. Example, there's a Bomberman game on PS3 I love, pardon me, where you get to have hats and stuff to customize your body. It's fun. This was cartoony. This was not fun. This was not Bomberman.
I'm just having a hard time imagining such a thing existing.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's
alright, I'll take your word for it and look it up.
But that was all for this week's XGR. Join us next week, when we'll be discussing another topic and other games and stuff. So, have fun, and thank you for joining us, Stacey.
Thank you for joining us on XGR!
And thank you for joining us, Richter.
Thank you.
I really thought you were going to do the "in the morning."
That's your line. I don't want to steal it.
You can steal my line.
Alright, I'm gonna press